The following production has been produced almost entirely in lockdown. There is only one exception, in which the recording was created prior to lockdown for another previously planned project. It has instead been used here with the permission of the contributor in question, for which the team is grateful. Due to lockdown, this production has been recorded by contributors with available means, and thus audio quality will vary between contributor segments. The story has been written and performed to raise money for the NHS, who provide an immense support and care for people, and are of personal significance to the team and to many, many people across Britain. You can find the Just Giving link to donate in the description below. All donations to help the NHS will be greatly appreciated, and sharing of the production and the Just Giving link with fellow Whovians is much encouraged and also very appreciated. For purposes of legal clarity, it must be stated that this production is an unofficial one. It should not be considered and does not intend to present itself as a BBC production, as the production of any of their licensees, or as part of the official Doctor Who brand. All characters and aspects of Doctor Who also remain the property of their respective rights holders. All contributors and crew have given their services to this project without payment or any similar compensation, for which we are immensely and incredibly grateful. With all that said, it is time to begin. We hope you enjoy. Onwards for our NHS.
One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until that time, go forward with all your beliefs. Thank you.
He was never mistaken in his beliefs. It was the truth for Grandfather, you see, going forward where one had to. And the name he took, the name of Doctor. Well, there were other doctors who were like that, on Earth. And this is the tale of a difficult time and of those doctors. Time and doctors.
It was quite the tale, I can tell you that. Wasn't it, Barbara?
Yes, it was. Not history to us, but something that was yet to happen. But the doctor said that it all started at the very beginning. The beginning of all things.
Time and chaos go hand in hand. Before time existed, there was only chaos. Everything, anything, and nothing all happened at once, except even happening didn't yet exist.
The universe was a pool of chaos, untempered and uncared for. But from that pool, the key to time was forged. The governing force of time in the universe, in that moment, time was born.
So that was the place of perfection.
Well, you see, most of the pool became the universe itself. I reckon that this pool thing is what everything works around. Sort of a foundation to life. And that the earth and everything on it came from it. All I know for sure is what the doctor told me. That what little remained of the pool solidified as time came to grow and expand.
And as time spread out from the pool of chaos, well, in a way, chaos created time, and time changed chaos.
Aye, but both were linked eternally, or something like that. Chaos would return every so often, but time would soon ease it back into order. That's what he said.
Thus, if one could ease chaos, master it even, then they will have mastered the other in the process. It is this simple and somewhat difficult fact that leads to the greatest truth of the universe.
Of course, every story has to start somewhere, and this story starts with a child. Not just an ordinary child, was an extraordinary child. A child that could have used their vast powers and brilliance to create good across the universe, making peace, not war, fighting prejudices, and freeing planets from disease. Or this child could use his gifted power to walk on the dark side, creating war, evil, and chaos wherever they went.
This particular child would grow up and be known by many names over the years, but none of them would live on better than one that had crept into the child's own head, one day, by chance. Master.
But even the Master could have no idea what their long, many lives of carnage, vanity, and evil would lead them to. For the actions of the Master will always have consequences.
And so the Master came to meet someone that he could never be a master over. For this force of chaos amazed the Master beyond belief. For he could never master it. He did not use his time well. Not like some on planet Earth. Actions had their consequences. And the Master?
I mean, he knew all too well what their chosen name meant. Of chaos. He just couldn't bloody believe it. Where his actions were deliberate and logical, this Lord of Chaos was
unpredictable. One day could be as ordinary as any other, and the next could be a whole different way of having to live. He got trapped, stuck on Earth in the middle of the difficult time. Locked down.
But while history had been written for the child that had grown up to be known as the Master, this other child had stood, waiting for their history to be written. Both had gone on through many lives, under many names, often battling.
By circumstance, by time. For this other child, however, their name of choice would be Doctor.
A Time Lord is the sum of their memories, but the Doctor even more so. Across many incarnations, their experiences had shaped the meaning of the name, Doctor. They had made it a message of hope, strength, and care. But what can be said when your present hope, strength, and care is greeted by an unexpected future?
The thought was always unexpected and unpleasant. The possibility of a doomed future is a heavy weight. Knowing your own mortality at a close level is never easy. Coming to that forked path in the road and feeling that either decision will lead only to an end, and that indecision takes hold.
But that's a choice too, and you mustn't ever leave yourself to indecision. Being greeted by a sidestep of yourself is not much better than your future, is it? What you could have been versus what you might be. But that sidestep would still want you to choose.
After a while, it does raise the question of what matters. And no one knew the question of what mattered quite like the Lord of Chaos did. When he came to exist, when he brought unexpected situations upon your life, to him, what mattered was his legacy, his remembrance, across the futures of all those universes that lay before him.
And that legacy had certainly spread, no more than right now, in what felt like a dreadful year. He'd replaced their hope with fear, their strength with rashness, and their care with force. To them, though, the Doctor told, what mattered was stopping the Lord of Chaos, crushing that hopelessness that had been forged in the past before it reached into their future.
What mattered in the battlefield of the future was not guns or might. What mattered was whether or not it was too late to change. The Lord of Chaos had solidified the past and forced an uncertain present. One where all felt there was something more needed. More care? That uncertain present was now.
The Professor couldn't help but wonder, looking at the people before him. He was the Doctor, but them, actual human doctors, gathered together, ready for that future, dedicated to helping when a moment of change came. And here it was. I had to wonder, and I imagine the Professor did too. What did they see in this moment? Had they resigned themselves to what came next?
And he could see that they hadn't. Some who still cared, fellow doctors, though not quite like him. What came next? That was a question that the Master had often pondered. What could anyone see for themselves in the chaos ahead? And for a moment, the Master saw what those doctors did. The truth is that the past, however it has been set, doesn't define a future.
You cannot wholly forgive the past usually, but with a Time Lord, perhaps. But while such a past can be tricky to forgive, why is a future such a challenge? Why does the present judge the future? Why does it fear what it could be? Perhaps it's only natural. A dangerous and slippery descent to judge what had not yet come.
But these doctors, standing across the present, they didn't fear. They stood courageous and ready for what the day had for them. For the future is not always as clear as it might seem from the present. Not always as first suspected.
And the past might come to call, to take the present to task, to remind it of its mistakes before and now, to call into question what the future would be. To ask that we do better. When the past knocks upon the present's door, it's sure to bring a reckoning.
And when the past rains down on the present, that can leave the future a chance to escape from prior judgment, to rebuild itself anew. Black and white, doomed or saved. Is that all time holds for us in a future? Is there nothing that lies between? Or is it possible that we are often blind, unintentionally or intentionally blind, to a way forward?
Truth and fantasy too. A problem to distinguish. Ultimately, there is a truth somewhere. One person's good might look like another person's bad. A terrible truth of truth itself. It's like an evil person might truly believe they are doing good.
So we must stand and help them see the good. And with all that said, there is life and death, going hand in hand, each as inevitable as the other. For what would death be if there was no life? There would be no living, no past, present or future, without death. Death comes to all and gives life its meaning.
That's what some would say, of course. But that's not what these doctors that stood by the doctor would say. They knew it was out there, but they said, not today, not today, even in the most chaotic of times.
And so comes finally balance. In life, one seeks to balance their good intentions against their bad. That's all one person can ever do, really. One hopes to be a good person and commits themselves to actions that they hope to be good.
Sometimes it goes wrong. Sometimes they mistake fantasy for truth. But what would good intentions be without a bad to steer clear of? What would truth be if there was no fiction to distinguish it from? What would life be without death?
Life without death led some to madness, to evil, and for one, it led to chaos. But for the Doctor, it gave only sadness and suffering. Trapped in the middle of a war fought over the Doctor, seemingly endless. Could it ever be stopped?
But yet, he recalled that his own choices had led him down this path, and he could see the Doctors in front of him. He could see Earth and its people.
What can be found in chaos? When you leave your future to itself, to be totally unpredictable, it can be surprising. After all, that's what unpredictable is. Surprising.
Past flew into present and then into future, at which point the future is just now. The Doctor had no time left to ponder over choices, only time to do what he felt was right.
And so though he was trapped, he stood. And so the Doctor stood, standing, would stand. Oh, what does it matter? The important thing is not the when, past, present or future, but the choice. The choice is what matters.
A duty of care, a duty of kindness, the choice to never be cruel, cowardly or vain, the choice to never stoop low, even when the pain and sorrow is high.
The choice to stand in a battlefield of present events and fight time against chaos, chaos against time, to fight with the responsibility of a lord and with the weight of the world.
A choice that would forever reflect the Doctor until the end of all. That was what the Doctor, he, she, they would do.
Doctors, can you hear me? Doctors of Earth. Yes, you lot. And the nurses and the paramedics.
The rest of you lot too. All of you, like me, go beyond a single age, gender, or race. But you are united.
Hello there. I am a doctor of Earth. My name is Doctor Who. And if my fellow doctors can hear me also, those of my own world, right now must seem scary. But I want you to know that you are wondrous. All of you that do so much to keep us safe and healthy.
You never give up. That's the beauty. Never give up and never give in. Ha ha! Yes.
Running to help fix the wounds. Always there to defend, to heal, to help shoulder the weight. Honestly, you're brilliant. You really are.
To try and do good. That's what you're here for. To be kind. To be protectors. To try and do good.
In the name of peace and sanity. Until the dust clears.
And certainly never for vanity. Human beings, simply brilliant.
It might all seem distant, and it may feel tough to see the end in sight, but I've been there.
But even across those divides, even across our differences, we are not separate. Make no mistake.
Your work never ends, but it also never ceases to be amazing. Never stops touching so many lives.
And so, that is who you are. Others might well ask, but most of them already know, see?
It's really rather simple, you know? You are some of the very best of humanity.
Oh my word, yes. You are. Nobody else could do what you're doing.
For you are what my name means. You are the Doctors. Thank you, NHS. Thank you so much.